Welcome to News 9 and you are watching On Point. Today we have 3 On Points. The first On Point is on Defence Minister Rajnath Singh's stern warning to Pakistan over the Sir Creek issue. Second On Point is on the magisterial probe ordered in the Leh violence. And is there a deep state conspiracy at play against India? And On Point 3 is on the upcoming visit of the Taliban foreign minister to India. And now let's take a quick look at the headlines. Assam police slap murder charge on Zubeen Garg's manager Siddharth Sharma and festival organizer Shyam Kanu Mahanta in connection with the singer's death in Singapore. Rahul Gandhi does it again, criticizes Indian democracy from foreign soil. Remark made in Colombia irks BJP. India-China direct flights to resume soon. "114 Odisha police job aspirants arrested while travelling to collect question paper in advance." Priyank Kharge hits out at Nara Lokesh's Anandpur pitch for aerospace and defence ecosystem, terms it desperate scavenging. Kerala CM compares RSS to Zionists. Pinarayi Vijayan calls RSS and Israel Zionist twin brothers at Kannur rally. Heavy rain likely in coastal Andhra as depression intensifies. The depression over West Central Bay of Bengal has intensified into a deep depression and is likely to cross Odisha adjoining Andhra Pradesh coasts. Two killed and 3 injured after Manchester synagogue attack, says UK police.
All right.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has expressed concern over build-up of Pakistani military infrastructure adjacent to the Sir Creek region along the Indian border in Gujarat. Speaking at a public event on the occasion of Shastra Pujan, he issued a stern warning to Islamabad and said Pakistan should remember that one route to Karachi passes through Creek. Singh accused Pakistan of purposely keeping the dispute alive after 78 years of independence despite India's effort to resolve it through dialogue. Singh said that during Operation Sindoor, the Indian armed forces demonstrated that the forces challenging India's sovereignty, no matter where they are hiding, will be eliminated.
साथियों, आजादी के 78 साल बीत जाने के बावजूद सरक्रीक इलाके में सीमा को लेकर एक विवाद खड़ा किया जाता है। भारत ने कई बार बातचीत के रास्ते इसका समाधान करने का प्रयास किया है, मगर पाकिस्तान की नीयत में खोट है, उसकी नीयत साफ नहीं है। जिस तरह से हाल में पाकिस्तान की फौज ने सरक्रीक के सटे इलाकों में अपना मिलिट्री इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बढ़ाया है, वह उसकी नीयत बताता है। साथियों, भारत की सीमाओं की रक्षा भारतीय सेनाएं और बॉर्डर सिक्योरिटी फोर्स मिलकर मुस्तैदी से कर रही हैं। अगर सरक्रीक इलाके में पाकिस्तान की ओर से कोई भी हिमाकत की गई तो उसे ऐसा करारा जवाब मिलेगा कि इतिहास और भूगोल दोनों बदल जाएंगे मेरे साथियों। और 1965 की जंग में भारत की सेना ने लाहौर तक पहुंचने का सामर्थ्य भी दिखाया। आज 2025 में पाकिस्तान को याद रखना चाहिए कि कराची का एक रास्ता क्रीक से ही होकर गुजरता है।
Sir Creek is a 96-kilometer estuary between India and Pakistan in the run-off Kutch marshland. Originally known as Ban Ganga, Sir Creek is named after a British representative involved in the resolution process. The creek opens up in the Arabian Sea and roughly divides the Kutch region of Gujarat from the Sindh province of Pakistan. India maintains the international boundary should lie in the middle of the creek. Pakistan claims the boundary should lie in the eastern bank, closer to India. Sir Creek is both strategically and economically significant for India and Pakistan. Sir Creek's location makes it critical for naval patrol and coastal security operation in the Arabian Sea. It is recognized as one of the largest fishing areas, grounds in Asia, providing livelihoods for the thousands of fishermen from both countries. The area holds immense economic potential due to yet unexplored reserves of oil, gas and petroleum and minerals beneath the seabed. At the heart of the Sir Creek issue is the interpretation of the maritime boundary line as perceived by India and Pakistan. The issue goes back to the British Raj. In the early 20th century, the Rao of Kutch and the Chief Commissioner of the Sindh province of British India laid claims over the creek because of dispute over the perception on boundaries. The government of Bombay then conducted a survey and arrived at a verdict in 1914. This verdict has two contentious paragraphs. Paragraph 9 says that the boundary between Kutch and Sindh lies to the east of the creek, which implies that the creek belongs to Sindh and therefore to Pakistan. On the other hand, paragraph 10 states that since Sir Creek is navigable most of the year, especially in the high tide period, according to international maritime law, a boundary can only be fixed in the middle of the navigable channel. This means it has to be divided between India and Pakistan. The Indian point of view has been scientifically upheld in many surveys, but Pakistan refuses to follow this. The Run of Kutch was one of the sectors in which India and Pakistan fought the 65 war. And then British PM Harold Wilson intervened and India and Pakistan set up a tribunal to resolve the Kutch dispute. The Run of Kutch arbitration verdict was given in 68 and according to that verdict, Pakistan was awarded 9,000 kilometers of the Run of Kutch, which was 10% of what it claimed. Since 1969, 13 rounds of talks have been held over issue of Sir Creek, but the issue remains unresolved. India is very clear that this area belongs to us. And this is one of the colonial legacies with which India continues to deal with. So, larger issue before I introduce my guest is, why is Pakistan ranking up military infrastructure around the Sir Creek area? And on this issue, let me introduce Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, Major General Sudhakar Ji, and Major General S.B. Asthana. Thank you all of you for joining me on this conversation. Let me straight away go to Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, sir. Why is Pakistan beefing up infrastructure in Sir Creek area? Let's decode it for our viewers first.
Kartikeya, thank you very much. First and foremost, happy Dashera, happy Gandhi Jayanti, and Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, which endured all of our 65 war, and then of course the Shastra Ji itself. Now, having said that, it is from 1965. Around January, you found in 1965, Pakistan started making moves in the Run of Kutch. And of course, the ceasefire came around June of 65. And then, of course, the war with Pakistan in 65, which started later. Having said that, Pakistan has all along been wanting this complete Run of Kutch. Primarily, what you rightly said in the initial remarks, that 1908, the first dispute on a small issue on some kind of wood over there, and then subsequently in 1914, in which where the demarcation, the maps showed to the east, but the text showed in the center of the Sir Creek. Now the center is the natural international way of recognizing disputes in water. It goes along the center line. Though it just might be 38 square kilometers of area, what it really involves, maybe even 6 to 7 kilometers of land, but it involves huge EEZ, almost about 250 to 350 square kilometers of EEZ. And again, you rightly brought out fishing areas, gas, oil. Obviously, there's so much of economics involved into it that Pakistan probably feels that this marshy land, again, there's only certain period in the year that you actually be doing anything over there because it's really marshy. I've gone walking there and you know what it means. It's impossible. Very, very difficult to do it. But notwithstanding, of course, even environmentally also, there are about a huge amount of flamingos over there. That's one thing that you can see.
So let us go. So let us go part by part. General Asthana, what is the important? It's our territory, so it is important. I'm sure there is no question about it. But just to frame it for our viewers, like importance of Siachen. So, it's a strategic height. So, what is the importance of Sir Creek? And In what way it's a colonial legacy? Can you decode this for our viewers?
Certainly. Firstly, you did cover a lot in your initial briefing. I will just add on certain points in that. Sir Creek, as you said, is a tidal estuary, and it is between Sindh and Kutch. Now, the importance is that when we talk of the center line of this water body being the boundary, related with that is the exclusive economic zone, because that gets defined as per the boundary. And in that area, since this is one of the largest areas as far as fishery output is concerned, as well as the potential of certain energy resources are concerned, that becomes strategically important. Now, Pakistan, now let me first add on to what you had said and what General Kulkarni mentioned. There is a principle called as Thalwar principle. Now, this principle says that in a water body which is navigable, the boundary has to be in the center line. And that is what the India is claiming. There were two maps, B44 and B74. These were the ones in 1914 treaty. They were given by the British, and this is the map which we cite. And also the extension of Thalwar principle is also the UN laws of sea, that is UNCLOS. Now that also follows the same principle. So considering all these principles, India's stand is firm and it remains so. Now coming on to your question. See, before 1965, after 1962, we were just recovering, and Pakistan with American support got a little bold and they thought that they can do something. And that's why slightly before 1965, they did something which India responded, and there was a ceasefire which General Kulkarni mentioned. Now, similarly, now they find that they are still getting American support, but India of today is absolutely different, as was brought out by the defense minister. Similarly, when he mentioned when he gave the message that a route goes to Karachi, he is basically looking at the vulnerability of Karachi, because this estuary is ending up into the Arabian Sea. So if they do anything which is contrary to the standard position, and this position was also identified in 1968 International Tribunal, which you mentioned, and that time the tribunal was accepted by both. Now they have started becoming a little more vocal and trying to put claims again. So that is the situation. But notwithstanding that, there have been cases every time they tried to do something. In 1999, one of their fishing aircraft violated the territory and we shot it down. So India has given very strong messages that time as well.
Okay.
Similarly, in Operation Sindoor, the way we were poised and postured to blockade Karachi is also very well known, which was, I think, obliquely referred by the defense minister. So, point I am trying to make is that if they try to do something to change the position, certainly India is in a better position to handle it today, and also the kind of sensitivity and strategic sensitivity which this region has will actually compel us
the most important part
for blockade of Karachi port.
You know, the most important part is the fact that the defense minister mentioned it today is also important. General Sudhakar ji, what makes the patrolling of this area tough? Please decode this for our viewers. What makes it so different from rest of our border, from Siachen to down to the Arabian Sea, and why is there a build-up of Pakistani troops there? What is your assessment? Because defense minister said that the build-up has been witnessed.
Thank you, Kartikeya. I must compliment your channel and you for having picked up the theme. I, for one, I have been harping on the issue and raking up the sensitivity of Sir Creek right since 10th of May 2025, when my podcast was launched by Republic Channel by Arnav and his second in command Abhishek. In that podcast, a question which was asked to me, this is in response to the three questions you have raised. He asked me whether India should continue with the conflict or not. Because after the ceasefire was established sometime in the evening at 5 o'clock on 10th of May, the drones were seen coming again to across the border towards India side. I, for one, in my understanding and logic, I said India must continue. So they said, no, if you continue, then you are getting into a trap. So in response to one of the questions, I had said that they may be firing these drones in the Jammu region, but they're looking towards Sir Creek. So he asked me in response to my response as to why Sir Creek. Sir Creek has got the following dimensions to be understood. In addition to the very distinguished co-panelists, what they have covered, we need to understand estuary. The issue relates to the mouth of the estuary. And from the mouth of the estuary, over a distance of 96 odd kilometers, or maybe a little more, the alignment of the estuary is forming a curve towards Indian boundary side. And like any other river system, the water alignment or the course of the river is changing, or the estuary is changing in favor of Pakistan towards the east. It is actually caving in, eating up the soil towards India side. While the standpoint given by the court verdict of 1968 is absolutely sacrosanct and binding, and India is standing by that, Pakistan has been trying to take advantage of the change of the course of the estuary. Second point, given the productive harnessing of the fishing in this area, this assumes greater importance. And third and most important is, this is an oil-rich and mineral-rich kind of area. Petroling. You raised the first point about petroling. Petroling in this area, it is a marshy area. The water is from ankle deep to knee deep. The water is absolutely salty. Therefore, anybody walking there, he tends to get contaminated. His feet is subject to, it is vulnerable to different kinds of ailments. So walking in the water itself, not only the salt seeps in through the shoes, it also contaminates your feet, your skin, and bound to get infections. So therefore, it is dangerous. Second point is, in this marshy area, there is a lot of undergrowth seen in last couple of years. This undergrowth is being taken advantage. It makes the infiltration by forces inimical to India through these marshy areas. Particularly, there is a segment of 35 to 40 kilometers in this stretch of 96 kilometers where sarkandas have been seen growing. Third point is that every estuary has got some kind of tributaries extending. They are fanning out towards India. This gives an opening or area or point of infiltration into India. Most important point I wish to highlight, Kartikeya, in response to the petroling question is, in 1965, in the same area, there is a place called close to this Sir Creek area, is called a Sardar Post. I am from Mahar Regiment. My battalion 2 Mahar happened to be deployed there in Sardar Post area. This was in the month of April. Actual conflict in 1965 started in September month. But before the actual conflict, the trigger had started. There is a place called, 2 points called a Surai and Ding. Pakistan had infiltrated across the border into India side and constructed a road which was 19 miles. In those days, distances used to be measured in miles. 19 miles long road had been constructed towards India side. And in response to that, 2 CRPF companies had moved overnight and they had occupied a post called Sardar Post. Pakistan, they have the rail network, they have the national highway, they have the road network, well established, very close to the border and very close to the...
And what about us, sir? What about us?
Ours, yes. That is the main point. Main point is, although there is a remarkable improvement in past 25 or rather I would say 10 to 11 years, but prior to that, this area has actually remained neglected. It requires extensive development. For example, the road going through Run of Kutch, through the Bhuj, Run of Kutch, then going up to Jamnagar, there has to be only one access national highway, but there are alternate access which have started coming up. A place like Bhuj has got 3 to 4 alternate access. Bypasses have also come up in recent past, but that is not good enough. Okay. What is required is very extensive focus, and we need to go in for deliberate methods of bringing infrastructure. Second point you have raised, let me just complete this. There was an attack by Pakistani forces in 1965 on 9th of April, where the battalion 2IC happened to be late General, the Chief of the Army Staff, General Sundarji of this particular company. He beat back the attack of Pakistani. This was the start point of 1965. Second point that you have raised is about why there is a demography change between 2011 and
Okay,
2000.
Sudhakar ji, I want you to pause a bit because I want to broad base this conversation. General Kulkarni, is this adventurism a result of sort of international hip hopping that Asim Munir is doing? The accord with the agreement with Saudi Arabia, 3 meetings with Trump, the talk of their soldiers being deployed in Gaza Strip. Is it a reflection of that, sir?
Karthikeyan, besides what the panelists have said, you're right, in the sense that his own extension also is involved. He probably feels more, empowered with the kind of agreement that is gone along with Saudi Arabia, the closeness that he shows with the United States. And at the same time, it was always considered a low-hanging fruit. And this low-hanging fruit business that has started, even Mr. Sham Saran had at a point of time in 2006, probably felt that we had almost reached an agreement on it. 2009 is what the panelists were talking about. The UNCLOS was to come. But the 2008, the Mumbai attack took place, as a result of which all of this has been in a limbo. Definitely Pakistan is wanting it, and that's one of the reasons why Operation Sindoor has been paused. It hasn't yet been terminated, knowing fully well that Pakistan is bound to do it, and this is one place which is sensitive. Of course, the infrastructure on our side has come up really very well. There's no denying the fact. Now we can almost walk and see closely what's happening on the other side. But Pakistanis are bound to do this. Even during Operation Sindoor, right from Leh to the Sir incidents were happening. Not that it was quiet, but notwithstanding that, yes, Asim Munir feels this is the time to instigate India to be able to see what it can do in Sir and what we consider it as a low-hanging fruit. Well, it isn't as low-hanging as what is generally perceived to be, and there is a possibility of a dispute occurring over there.
So basically, General Asthana, because of the geography of Sir Creek, where the perception of the boundary can move because of the water, it is for this reason Pakistan is trying to create a conflict around here. Because you can't mark it down.
Certainly, Pakistan is trying to highlight a, shall I say, claim which they have been making, and they feel that it is an appropriate time for the reasons which General Kulkarni was mentioning. See, what has happened is, putting it in a slightly broader context, because of this Cold War 2.0 and because of certain turbulence in Middle East, Pakistan has newfound relevance for USA, as well as for the Arab countries like Saudi Arabia. Now, this newfound relevance is emboldening Pakistan to perhaps open up certain things where they think that they could be supported. But notwithstanding that, the defense minister's message is very clear, and I also would like to say that, see, during 1965, we were still recovering from the scars of 1962. Today's India is totally different and much better placed. So therefore, all such, shall I say, awkward gestures by Pakistan will certainly going to get itself into trouble, because USA was there on their side that time also. It's not that, but they couldn't save a defeat in 1965, and they will not be able to save it now also. So there is certainly Pakistan's effort is to highlight some of the disputes which it calls it as a dispute. As far as we are concerned, we are very clear as to what is the border, and I think no, shall I say, intrusion would be tolerated. And certainly, as was mentioned, this area is also becoming important because of the infiltration routes. And the terrain, which was adequately described by Sudhakar ji, lends itself to some kind of infiltration. So these are the things I think which are relevant.
Absolutely. Sudhakar ji, before I close the discussion, is it still possible in the time of drone technology, satellite technology, the ability to see at the long distances, infiltration is still possible in such desolate, barren land, sir?
Yes, we need to understand from a larger perspective. Many of us may not be aware of the fact that 8 kilometers crow flight distance from BSF post in this area, there is a civil company of China, Chinese company, state-owned company, At the middle of that habitation, there is a building on top of which there is a medium machine gun like thing with a barrel pointing towards India. If it is a civilian company, then how come there is a weapon system on the top of the building? This is there available in open domain. You can actually Google or find out. So if it is not substantiated, we need to go deeper into it because I have done research on the subject. Second thing is, we must bear in mind for preceding 2 to 3 years time, please look at it from this perspective, Kartikeya, that there is a system. It is unheard of any military organization in the world. The officers of Pakistan Army are going on MS posting to Western Theatre Command of China, and Chinese officers are coming on posting to Pakistan. As on today, as we are discussing this, there are large number of People's Liberation Army troops who are deployed along the line of control 740 kilometers. Then, if not more, there are equal number of PLA who are also been seen in civilian dress deployed along the IP. Okay, last point is satellite system that you've asked me. As on during Operation Sindoor, we had 10 satellites, ISRO 10 satellites, giving overlapping surveillance of all the area. But that doesn't mean infiltration as a military activity cannot be picked up by all kinds of surveillance.
I've really fallen short of time, sir. But brilliant points made by you. Brilliant points, Sudhakarji, made by you. And thank you all of you, because the reason why I picked this was that a lot of people should understand that India's border is demarcated at some points, it is not demarcated at some points, and it is not only LOC or Siachen, there is also a part in Gujarat which is Sir Creek. And I think people should understand that this was one of the bigger flashpoints in 65, and it is, as General Asthana said, we had shot down Atlantique when, and MiG-21 Bison shot it down when it made a very aggressive posture towards our plane, despite giving Atlantique a warning that it should turn and go back to Pakistan. So thank you all of you. This was on point 1. On point 2, we will talk about the larger issues of Ladakh. Is there a deep state conspiracy against India in Ladakh? But after a short break.
Alakazam fish disappear. Moonlight.
Smooth, silent, seamless. Sliding systems from headache.
मुझसे नहीं हो गया।
उनको देख रहे हो क्या संगीत तक ये स्टेप्स